You know, I was just thinking about something. I heard the story about Ralph Northam's, the governor Ralph Northam of out here in Virginia. His wife was put on blast, and she should have been, for going around handing out cotton to black kids. Talking about, think about what it would have been like if you were a slave picking cotton. Let me go ahead and talk about that, and talk about why Republicans and Democrats are two birds of a feather. Yeah, they are. This is DJ Wolf Live. All right, guys and gals. Ralph Northam's wife recently got in trouble for... Oh, I didn't even try that. I guess I can. Ralph Northam's wife recently got in trouble for... I guess she was taking a couple of kids around the governor's compound. And I guess there was a couple black kids that were there. And she went out and gave them some cotton and told them to imagine themselves being slaves during slave time. Yeah, she did. Well, something to that effect. And people did put her on blast for that. This is like weeks after Ralph Northam was exposed in a college photograph where he was in blackface. Everybody know that was him. You can see it. All right. And he admitted to it, and then he tried to double down on it the next day. And by the same token, they tried to throw the school bus didn't stop there, did it? No, I couldn't have, because there was another car in front of me. But by the same token, the lieutenant governor, who they tried to expose, saying, oh, he was he had relationships with women that he sexually assaulted. And I'm thinking, first of all, that was 30 some odd years ago. And second of all, why did they wait so late to report it? Long after he became lieutenant governor. It's all a scam, man. And I'm going to be honest with you. Republicans and Democrats, they're like two birds. They flock together. They just take different paths to power. That's all. One take power for the 1% base. The other take power for the power on getting votes from the lower and middle income class. That's all. It's the only difference. You know, and a different set of values and views and situations. That's all. I was thinking about something that happened. You know, I was thinking about Cleveland. You know, during the mid to late 70s, when jobs started dwindling, all the factory and automotive jobs, people were being laid off. Prices started going up. Businesses slowly started moving out the city. You know, this did happen. I witnessed that. And here's the thing with that. What it wasn't that Americans weren't being productive. Americans were being as productive as they ever were at the time. The deal was the greedy got greedier. Yeah. See, what they were doing, they feel like, oh man, you know, I gotta pay for insurance and medical and all that stuff. And I know they were complaining about it. You know, and they get paid good and eat good and all that, and you know, blah 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 and all that bullshit. When they wanted to go back to simpler times for them, yeah, you white people, that's what I'm referring to. They wanted to go back to similar times where they could pay people pennies on the dollar. That's why a lot of those jobs started going overseas in other countries, because they knew they could get away with that. They knew there was a demand for jobs in other countries, and they just said, we're going to put stakes on y'all Americans, go to take these jobs and put them in other countries, pennies on the dollar, and make even more money off of you. And then you'll be buying our stuff. You'll be totally dependent on us with or without jobs. They didn't care. The 1%ers was to a point where all they wanted to do was make money, no matter how they did it. If it meant taking jobs from Americans to go make the money off the backs of foreigners for pennies on a dollar versus what you were paying Americans for, to keep Americans employed, then that's what they did. That's what they were going to do, and that's what they did. You know, the 1%ers don't give a fuck about nothing else but themselves. The bottom line is the bottom dollar. That's all they care about, and that's a fact. It's the 1%ers that actually didn't want you to read. They didn't want your ancestors to read. And if it was up to them, you would never be reading today. You know? You wouldn't. You simply wouldn't be reading. You wouldn't be reading. You wouldn't be making any real money. There's a lot of stuff that, 1%ers are constantly trying to get away with. And in a lot of respects, they still do. You know. This is one of the reasons why I'm saying education. You have to have it. You know. And I tell young people that all the time. Don't sell yourself short just working at a pizza place all the time or nothing wrong with an honest day's pay. But as you get older, you won't be working at no pizza place or McDonald's until 55 years old. Trying to take care of your family. Especially when you ain't never had no real work. That's the point I'm trying to make. Don't sell your life out. Don't sell your life out short like that, people. I'm just saying. You know. I don't care what kind of situation you're in, don't sell your life out short. Don't, just say, oh, well, that's all I can do. And that's an easy thing for people to do because I came close to doing that one time. I could have just easily just said, oh well. Because I've been in a state where I was like I wasn't sure of myself many times over. But at some point I said, the hell with it. I'm moving out. Get out. Getting out of Cleveland and make something of myself, man. And that's kind of what I did. I still think it's a daily struggle for me, but it's better than what a lot of people are doing today. And people I know personally who ain't doing anything. That's another whole story. That's kind of what I'm thinking about right now. It's just, I don't know, man. This is just one of those years, man, where 2019 started out effed up anyway. But I'm seeing more and more now where there was an example by a young kid who went stand up to take part in the national anthem, black kid, and he said he was sitting down. But of course, according to published reports, they go to mainstream media trying to jazz up or punch up the story to make it more than what it is. The young black kid, they said he was disruptive. They didn't tell you specifically what he was disruptive doing. They couldn't tell you. And usually when they can't tell you, it didn't happen. Yeah. I doubt he was being disruptive. I doubt that. That's like what they were using with Trayvon Martin. God rest his soul. When Trayvon Martin was murdered back in 2012, 7 years ago this year. When he was murdered, they tried to, the media, the mainstream media, try to use that excuse about, and you know how they do. Instead of talking about what the victims went through as victims, they made the victims the guilty party. They made the guilty party the victim. Yeah. AKA George Zimmerman, the victim. AKA Trayvon Martin, the guilty. Yeah. They had the nerve to go run pieces, different stories on him, the media, and ran with it like wildfire. Oh yeah, he was suspended. He was rude. He was this, he was that, he was smoking weed. I got into it with a colleague of mine for saying that shit. I said, you know, nerds smoke weeds all the time. Do they ever get called out? Are they called thugs? That's exactly what I told them. They're not called thugs. Why is it because a black kid smoked weed that makes him a thug? It does not make him a thug. And even if it made him a thug, does that mean that a guy had a reason to shoot him in the chest when he was walking away from the situation and he was told to stand down by police officers? He was told to and wouldn't do it and still got away with murder. You know? Because the Florida prosecution allowed this bogus ass fucking law called stand your ground to support him. And it's happening in a number of cases. Just like that. That's bullshit. I'm sorry. That is complete bullshit. This is why I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't have one white friend right now. And I admit to that. Not because I don't like white people. I don't really have I don't have a problem against white people. I have a problem against their policies. I have a problem against how they treat people of African Americans, how they've always treated us as African Americans. I have a big problem with that, and still do to this day. You know, your policies have ruined a people because of your own fucking greed. You know, because of your quote unquote way of life. It ruined many people, and y'all don't want people to talk about it. Then y'all came up with this BIE bullshit, black identity extremists. So anybody talks about it, you're suspect. That is the biggest bunch of bullshit I've ever heard. But you don't do that with fucking white boys who put up these white supremacy groups who put up all kind of shit all over the goddamn place. You don't say anything about that. There is no BIE version of white supremacy. They ain't looking to target any white racists. No, they never will. Because they're all part of it. You know, that's been documented. You know, they're not going to do that. Us, they will. They want us to keep our mouths shut while they go do all kinds of stuff. Yeah. Only we can't talk, but everybody else can. See how biased this is? This is biased as all get out. And continues to be so. But we're not supposed to talk about it. See, politicians are, like I said, they say are strange bedfellows, but they're also bosom buddies. You know? Doesn't matter whether it's Trump or Ralph Northam or Bernie Sanders or Kamala Harris. It don't matter. Or Cory Booker or Alejandro, whatever the hell her name is. It don't matter. None of them have your interests at heart. The reparations thing that they were asking several other candidates about was an abomination. They had no intention. They all avoiding the question about specifically reparations for African Americans. Even Obama did it. Yeah. Of all people. And it makes you wonder, what am I voting for? You know, I know somebody personally who works with voter registration. Still don't know why, but I'm not getting involved with that. I told somebody else I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to get involved with that because I'm seeing more and more, and more and more and more and more often than ever. It's a waste of time. It truly is. Because honestly, at the voting pool, who do you have that's actually going to represent you? None of them have proven this year that they're worthy of you casting your vote and sitting up there for 90 minutes to vote for them, just so they can get in power and be in cahoots with the Republicans to try to destroy your way of life and destroy your people at the same time. It's not worth my time anymore. It's not. I get no skin out of the game. None. They get all kinds of skin out of the game. We don't. That's why I'm not going to waste my time with them. I didn't vote the last time, the midterms. I'm not going to vote this time either. I'm not going to do it. There's not one candidate that I'm actually looking forward to voting for. I know of one candidate that some of my family know. They're kind of, not really close ties, but they're close ties. But let's put it like this. They know him through a neighbor. I was going. She wanted me. She wanted to talk to me. But I didn't want to talk to me. I don't want to talk to any. I don't know. Want to talk. She's a major candidate. Matter of fact, my pastor actually had mentioned about some kind of campaign she got going on, and they were looking for volunteers. And I started to, and I said, nah, nope, don't want to deal with politics. Politicians have not convinced me that they are about our best interests anymore. I'm totally convinced that they're all fake. And think about it. The campaign contributions that they'd be collecting really is to fund whatever they're doing, and then eventually it gets them into some type of job. Kamala Harris, don't take anything seriously. I look at her, and I watched her on a number of interviews and stuff, and I've talked about her till I'm blue in the face. And you can't take her seriously. You cannot take her as a serious candidate. And she knows that. And everybody else knows it too. Thank God. I was one of the first people on YouTube to talk about it. The day she announced that she was going to be running for president. I was one of a very small handful of people who actually talked about it the day she made the announcement. And it just grew like wildfire, so to speak, because people are waking up and realize, hey, you're not going to take my vote for granted. I want tangibles, I want tangibles, damn it. Damn, why turn up action? And nothing short of it. Why should we get anything short of tangibles? I'm not going to keep going. I don't think about that. Why should we want anything other than that? Would you want anything less for your family? Would you want anything less for your children than a college education or a way to go to better schools? Would you want anything less than that for your kids? No. Why would I want anything less than tangibles for my vote? Because you know what? Like I said again, at the end of the day, guess who won't get some skin in the game? Yeah, the politicians. They're gonna always have some skin to get out of that. Always. Real talk. Us, them, yeah. I'm just telling it like it is. So why not get no skin out? Not bother getting skin out of the game. Get some skin out of the game. At least you feel better about doing it. Tangibles will make all the difference. Yes, tangibles, if you don't know what people are talking about, is reparations. That's a tangible. That's tangibles. Think of it as there's a good slim chance to none that we would never get it because most of the Democrats don't even support it. They don't even directly support it. That's what's even worse. Not only do they not support, they don't directly support it. And if you're not directly, and most of them aren't directly supporting it, then your chances are slim to none for them to even ever think about giving it to you. Kamala Harris tomorrow. Reparations for everybody. It ain't just for African Americans. Bullshit. Not everybody picked cotton for 300 years in this country. Remember, slavery is less than 200 years old. That means a generation, 2 generations ago, where people actually picked cotton in this country. Or 2-3 generations ago, to be honest. Yeah. If you think about it, slavery is not that old. Okay. Slavery is about 150 some odd years. And we talking about low 50s. So it was not that long ago. A generation and a half. Yeah. Well, people actually did that. And you don't want to question it. They don't want to teach black history in schools. And to be honest, black history that was taught in schools was very sporadic. Because I remember that. Even in the 80s, they didn't do a whole lot of teaching about black history. Black history was almost like a novelty when it came to the schools, teaching it. I did have a black history teacher in high school, and he was white. But it bothered me. It was a controversy I'm surprised never got in the media. This actually happened to me, real talk. Back in when I was in school in 1980, 81, when I was in high school, my sophomore year. And it really did bother me. I was like, I wasn't used to a white teacher teaching me about my culture. And although he did know a lot about the culture, or at least based on what he was talking about, I really wasn't comfortable hearing a white guy trying to tell me how to be about my blackness. I just wasn't. It just bothered me. And I talked about this before. I meant to talk about this during Black History Month, but I've been so busy the last couple months, I just didn't even think about it. But it really did bother me, seriously. I was like, what the hell? So, and I was getting D's and F's in the class because I didn't even want to do it. I really didn't. So I had a long talk with my dad at the time, and he was basically saying, hey, he knows much about, but there are white people who knows much about your culture as you do, and I think he's a good teacher. We talked for a long time about this, that, and the other. He's pretty up. And eventually my grades went up, but after that, I was like, to this day, I still feel very, I wouldn't say violated, so to speak, but I didn't feel easy about it either. I'm gonna tell y'all the gospel on that. I really, really didn't. Something about that made me feel odd. That I had to, after 300-400 years, a white guy's gonna tell me about my blackness. I wasn't happy about that, and I don't think I was the only one. But I knew I was. I don't know what ever happened to the teacher after that. They might have got rid of him or something. I don't know. I would hope not. He was a good guy. He really was a nice guy, actually. And but I just wasn't used to that. I just, especially after your parents had told you about how the civil rights era was and all that, and prior when they were living down in the South, and they were picking cotton. Some of them were picking cotton in the 1940s. Because they were working. Because my grandfather was a sharecropper. That's how sharecropping got started. It was a kind of an offshoot from slavery, to be honest. But, the thing of it is that politicians play games all the time. They actually have, and many of these politicians, if you think about it, a lot of these politicians come from 1% backgrounds anyway. Many of them do. I'll give you an example. The Bushes. Okay? They have been very well prosperous for years. The Kennedys. Even Al Gore came from a silver spoon. John Kerry, sort of. Many of them did. Many of them. We know Trump. That's another whole story. But that goes to show you. And many of them are no friends or part of a media or have friends. They're part of the media conglomerates. Where they control everything you eat, drink, sleep, buy, and everything else. Notice one of the biggest media conglomerates is the auto industry. They have as long as I can remember, they've had auto ads on TV forever and a day. And they're usually on like 3, 4, 5, 6 to a dozen times per hour, or close to it. I'm not really that far off the mark from that, to be honest, because I have seen a lot of those commercials like that for years, many of them for years, and that's always been the case for a very, very long time. But this is like I said, it bothers me because, like I said, when you back to the thing about Black history, when you alter the teachings of Black history, or you modify it to a point where you're getting Black kids not to be interested in it, like with the case of having a white teacher teach Black history, in my case, or you just pull the books off the shelf so they won't learn about it, or you just don't have the curriculum all together. My son, surprisingly, it was surprisingly to me because he went to a Black high school, and he said they never, even in Black high school, it was a brand new high school, they never taught Black history. How can you be in a school, modern day school? We ain't talking about the time that I went to school. I'm talking about a modern day school and not know Black history. What kind of mess is that? I used to think it was my kid's fault, but it really wasn't his fault. Although, it really wasn't. They never taught it. And when they don't teach it, they make you think, oh, everything is rainbow colors and everybody gets along and kumbaya. That's the mentality of it. The mentality is, oh, we're over that. We don't have that stuff. We're racially harmonized and everything else. If you think about it, that is what they've been doing. Therefore, you don't learn about your history. You learn about their history. Yeah, his story. That's what history stands for. His story. I didn't think about that until a couple years ago. Yeah, because his story repeats itself. His story talks about their struggle, not yours. They don't want to hear about your struggle. They want you to forget about it. This is bad. Steve Harvey. Remember Steve Harvey? Talking about, I don't give a damn about slavery. How the fuck can you say that, dude? And wondering why people call you a coon and why people talk about you. Because you're a fucking coon. And you're my homie. We grew up in the same neighborhood. And I'm talking about your ass. Because you cooned out. That's another whole story. But it's just it's really a goddamn shame. In 2019, Black history is not even taught in the schools. It's not. I already know that. They don't want you to know it. They don't want to teach it. It's not that they can't teach it. They don't want you to know. They want you to be dumb about it. And if that's not about white supremacy, I don't know what is. What's my fries in here? Maybe I'm just mad at them. I don't know. Anyway, it's really a shame. It's a shame that we're really, and you wonder why people say the dominant society. Because apparently that's what it is. White supremacy is still the dominant society of this United States. No question about it. They've gotten away with so much, and they continue to do so, even to a point where our neighborhoods are so fucked up, for lack of a better word, that we turn against each other at times. Yeah. Because of lack of economics. Makes no sense to me why you would do it in the first place. But we need to wake up and stay woke. I'll say that. I mean, tangibles, yeah, you're right. We need that. But we need to stay woke to the process of what the hell is still being done. Because somebody said on the radio, and I give them credit for that, Jim Crow Esquire, the son of Jim Crow. Or, I'm sorry, he don't say Jim Crow. He said James Crow Esquire, the son of Jim Crow. Because that's really what it is. A lot of stuff that they do today, like I teach black history, police brutality, especially to a point where they're murdering blacks with impunity. That's part of Jim Crow too, whether you know it or not. It's a big part of it. Where people were denied to be allowed to be in stores in 2019, really? Or when children are harassed because they don't want to stand up for the national anthem, or players who don't want to stand for the national anthem because of their protests against police brutality, like as though if it was a crime, which is another thing that bothers me. How the fuck did not only the NFL but the president, I ain't gonna call him president, I'm sorry, how the fuck did the NFL and Donald Trump, because he's y'all president, reference to my man Willie D, how the fuck y'all going to try to practically lambash an NFL player for taking a stand on something that needed to be recognized on a worldwide level, let alone a national level? How wrong police brutality in this country really is. And I'm gonna be honest with you. When Kaepernick did what he did 3 years ago, I plan on wearing my jersey this weekend, matter of fact. When Kaepernick did what he did 3 years ago, to me, that was beyond a shadow of a doubt how racist this country really is. This shit went way past Obama. I had there was some guys in my office who was talking about the Kaepernick situation, and they were pretty much mostly white. I don't have a problem saying that. They're white. And they were going in about, Kaepernick, he just don't appreciate what he got, and, that money he got there be protesting, and all that money they paying him. So, now the truth of the matter is, I can't do that on my job. A lot of people can't do that with their job, to just outright protest, they lose a job. But Kaepernick, being on a national level, being on a national media spectrum, learned from civil rights leaders like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and others that the media plays into that when you protest like that, because that's out of sync with them. They won't expect you to be doing that kind of protest in an NFL game, especially since you're making money from playing in the NFL. Oh no, you can't do that. But see, this is where the white power structure comes in. They're saying, boy, I'm playing you play football. I ain't paying you to protest against y'all colored people. Yeah. And at one point, they were all for it. All the owners were for it until 45 said nope. And they all bucked down. They all doubled down. I say buck down because that's what they did. They bucked down. And for me, I'm like, they would rather you not protest. They would rather not recognize the dirt that they're doing to our people in this country. They would much rather just say, go play football out there, nigga, which is what they're saying. Excuse my French. Yeah. Then to be honest about what's going on and putting a stop to it. They don't care. The 1%ers don't care. The majority of those kind of people do not give a fuck about your interests. They don't. Let's keep it real. They don't. It's a damn shame. Because we have, in this country, still have so much to learn about each other. But you don't care about that. All the things that 1%ers care about is their base and their family and their liberties. When it comes to yours, it don't matter. It's what they want. It's what they got and what they need. Yours doesn't matter. Yours is just don't matter. It's a shame, man. People still have those biased opinions about our people in this country in 2019, man. I'll be damned. I'll be damned. All right, guys, that's all I got. This is DJ Wolf. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna do a live podcast tonight. It could happen, but we'll see. This is DJ Wolf. I do got a lot to say on the back burner, in addition to what I've already talked about here. So, believe me, I got more content. This is DJ Wolf, and I'm out.